Patrick's Day, little Smoakies. It's time for our bedtime story. Harper wanted to join us tonight. Say hi, Harper.
Hi.
Because we're reading one of her favorite stories. Now, I should have had a St. Patrick's Day book. And I do. I have lots of St. Patrick's Day books at school. Remember the shelf up front? It's full of all kinds of St. Patrick's Day books like The Clever Leprechaun and The Leprechaun Trap. All of those would be great, but I did not bring them home. So what do I say to myself? Miss Smoke, get your life together. But I haven't yet. So I'm going to read you this one instead. One of the things I miss most about not being at school is Miss Jamie. Who misses Miss Jamie? Show of hands. Of course we do. Now I don't know what to make for dinner at night. That's one of the things Miss Jamie and I always talk about, is what to make for dinner every night.
Like spaghetti or something.
Like spaghetti or something. She does like spaghetti, yes. So I am reading this book, especially for Miss Jamie. I hope she watches with Savannah tonight. It's called Mice and Beans. Mice and Beans.
You know,
This book has some Spanish words in it, and you got your Spanish homework today. 2nd and 3rd graders did. Tell your parents to check their
you know
email.
who loves mice?
Who? We have a guest.
Dinah.
Dinah, also known as Grumpy Cat. Yeah, she definitely won't stay. Okay. It's by Pam Munoz Ryan, illustrated by Joe Cepeda. Rosa Maria lived in a tiny house with a tiny yard. But she had a big heart, a big family, and more than anything, she loved to cook big meals for them. That sounds like us, Miss Jamie. In 1 week, her youngest grandchild, little Catalina, would be 7 years old, and the whole family would squeeze into her casita for the party. What do you think casita means? They were going to squeeze into her casita. Yeah, I think you're right. We used context clues to figure that out, didn't we? Rosa Maria didn't mind because she believed what her mother had always said. When there's room in the heart, there's room in the house. Except for a mouse. Sunday, Rosa Maria planned the menu. Enchiladas. Ooh, that sounds amazing. That's what I get at habaneros, right? Rice and beans. No dinner was complete without rice and beans. Birthday cake, lemonade, and a piñata filled with candy. She ordered the birthday present, something little Catalina had wanted for a long time. Satisfied with the plans, she wiped down the table so she wouldn't get mice and took out a mouse trap just in case. She was sure she had set one the night before, but now she couldn't find it. Maybe she'd forgotten. When it was set and ready to snap, she turned off the light and went to bed. Ooh, look. That word is green, so it must be special. What kind of word is snap? Do you remember? We just had this lesson right before we got out of school. It's a really big fat word.
Well,
A sound word. Snap. Onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia. Monday, Rosa Maria did the laundry. She washed and ironed her largest tablecloth and the 24 napkins that matched. But when she finished, she only counted 23. No importa, she said. It doesn't matter. So what if someone has a napkin that doesn't match? The important thing is we're all together. That's always the important thing, isn't it? Being together. After dinner, she swept the floor and checked the mouse trap. But it was missing. Didn't I set one last night? She wondered. She hurried to the cupboard to fetch another, and when it was all set and ready to snap, she turned off the light and went to bed. Oh my goodness. Rosa Maria sounds like me losing my coffee cup at school. Having to ask everybody to find it for
you
me.
use it a lot.
Tuesday, Rosa Maria walked to the market. She filled her big bolsa. I don't know what a bolsa is.
Probably bag.
I bet it is the bag. You can use the picture pictures as clues to help you with it.
Maybe a pinata.
She filled that bolsa with tortillas, cheese, red sauce, white rice, pinto beans, and a bag of candy. She bought a piñata on her way home, and she stopped at the pasteleria to order the cake. After dinner, she washed the dishes and checked the mouse trap, but it had vanished. Que boba soy! Silly me. I must have forgotten again. She hurried to the cupboard to fetch another, and when it was ready to... You gotta say it really loud.
Snap.
She turned off the light and went to bed. That pinata's funny. Look at it. Looks almost like a peacock, doesn't it? Wednesday, Rosa Maria prepared the enchiladas. Ooh, I wish she'd invite me. That sounds amazing. She dipped the tortillas in red sauce, filled them with cheese, and rolled them into little fat bundles. She noticed the piñata was missing a few feathers. No importa, she said. Those feathers won't make a difference to the children when the piñata is filled with candy. Rosa Maria sure is optimistic, right? She's finding the bright side of everything. Don't worry about it, is what she keeps saying. After dinner, she mopped up the sauce and checked the mouse trap, but it was gone again. I'm so busy that I am forgetting to remember, she cried. She hurried to the cupboard to fetch another, and when it was set and ready to...
Snap.
She turned off the light and went to bed. Thursday, Rosa Maria simmered the beans. She searched for her favorite wooden spoon, the one she always used to cook frijoles, but she couldn't find it. No importa, she said. The beans will taste just as good if I use another spoon. She added water all day long until the beans were plump and soft. Then she scrubbed the stove and checked the mouse trap. What do you think happened?
It was gone.
But it was nowhere in sight. Cielos, she said. Heavens, where is my mind? I don't know. At this point, I think I'd start to think something else was happening, right? She hurried to the cupboard to fetch another, and when it was set and ready to...
Snap.
She turned off the light and went to bed. Friday, Rosa Maria picked up the cake and 7 candles, but she hadn't been able to find her big bolsa before she left. Do you remember what the bolsa was? Do you guys remember what the bolsa was?
No.
Her bag, remember? No importa, she said. I'll carry the cake in one hand and the candles in the other. I'd have a hard time getting that cake home without sticking my finger in it and tasting the frosting. Tomorrow was the big day. Rosa Maria knew she mustn't forget anything, so she carefully went over the list one last time. After dinner, she wrapped the cake and checked the mouse trap. She couldn't believe her eyes. No. Thank goodness I've got plenty. She hurried to the cupboard to fetch another, and when it was set and ready to...
Snap.
She turned off the light and went to bed. Saturday, Rosa Maria cooked the rice as the workers assembled at little Catalina's present. She set the table and squeezed the juiciest lemons from her tree. Let's see, she said, feeling very proud. Enchiladas, rice and beans. No dinner was complete without rice and beans. Birthday cake and lemonade. I know I had forgotten something, but what? The candles! But she only counted 6. No importa, she said. I will arrange the 6 candles in the shape of a 7, and little Catalina will be just as happy. Now, everything is ready. But was everything ready? What did she forget?
The
Can you
piñata.
tell? In the picture, yeah, she forgot about that piñata. Oh, mercy. You may not be able to see. Harper, can you tell them what's going on? Look.
Wow. They're trying to fill.
Yeah, the mice. The mice are filling up the piñata. Aww. That afternoon, Rosa Maria's family filled her tiny casita. What's a casita?
House.
A house, yeah. They ate the enchiladas and rice and beans. They drank the fresh squeezed lemonade and they devoured the cake. Little Catalina loved her present, a swing set. And after every cousin had a turn, they chanted, La piñata, la piñata. They ran to the walnut tree and threw a rope over the high branch. Whack! Whack! That's another onomatopoeia. Little Catalina swung the piñata stick. Wait! Cried Rosa Maria as she remembered what she'd forgotten, but it was too late. What did she remember that she had forgotten? She remembered she didn't put that candy in the piñata. Crack! Another onomatopoeia. The piñata separated and the children scrambled to collect the candy. How could that be? Rosa Maria puzzled. I must have filled it without even realizing it. She laughed at her own forgetfulness as she hugged her granddaughter and said, Feliz cumpleaños, my little Catalina. Happy birthday. After everyone had gone, Rosa Maria tidied her kitchen and thought contentedly about the fiesta. She pictured the happy look on little Catalina's face when the candy spilled from the piñata, but Rosa Maria couldn't remember when she had filled it. No importa, she said. It was a wonderful day. But as Rosa Maria swept out the cupboard, she discovered the telltale signs of mice. Ratones! She cried. Where are my mousetraps? I will set them all. She inched to the floor, and when she did, something caught her eye. She looked closer. Maybe I didn't fill the piñata, she thought. What did she find on the floor? Do you guys see right here? She found candy wrappers. Now she's thinking maybe she had some help with that piñata. Was it possible? She asked, shaking her head. Could I have had help? Rosa Maria looked at the leftovers. Too much for one person. And what was it her mother had always said? When there's room in the heart, there's room in the house, even for a mouse? Fíjate, imagine that, she said. I remembered the words wrong all these years. Besides, how many could there be? 2? 4? No importa, she said. It doesn't matter if a few helpful mice live here too. Then she turned off the light and went to bed. And never set another mousetrap again. That looks like quite a few more than 2 or 4 mice, but wow, they sure did come together as neighbors and helped each other out, didn't they?
It's like humans, but they're mice because that's the animals and they break the law.
Yeah, I really liked how Rosa Maria's opinion of mice changed at the end of the story. Kindness can do that, can't it?
Mm-hmm.
Change your mind about things. I hope that you enjoyed your story tonight, and I hope that you have sweet, sweet dreams. My dogs are saying hi too. We'll see you tomorrow night.